And I would like to hear on all three of the proposals that the adjoining property owner's suggestion. Or maybe they can come up with something else between them that works for both sides.
Mr. Morgan.
I would say the same thing. I'm ready to continue this thing till the 24th. And go ask what they've come up with is true, a good answer that will solve this problem, and move forward. And I make that motion.
Is there a second?
You don't want to talk?
I'll say something before I call for the vote, but it's very brief.
So this is
There's no second. It's going to die for that lack of a second?
Oh. And then we don't have an extension?
You better be careful not.
Why?
I have to talk to city attorney.
We're looking for a second to his motion.
Excuse me, I need an answer to that one.
This will continue to the next hearing.
That's the motion on the floor, but you don't have a second. May I ask the city attorney a question?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan just made the comment that we better be careful if we don't approve an extension. And he said he talked to you. What does that mean?
I didn't say that at all. I didn't say I talked to him. I have not talked to him.
Who did you
Excuse me. I would like to ask, is there anybody interested in seconding this? This extension?
Yes, I'll second it.
Thank you. You both indicated you were willing to. And after the motion, I asked 3 times if there was a second. Yes.
As a matter of process, I am not certain what the motion is.
Okay.
No disrespect to you, Mr. Morgan, but I don't understand what your motion was.
Would you please state
So could you restate it specifically so that I can understand?
This is to refer this on to the 26th for further consideration by our staff in meeting with Mr. Teitelbaum to see if there has been a agreement on how to handle this.
I believe it's the 24th, isn't it?
The
24th. I'm not sure. 24th.
The next meeting. Okay, Mr. Tremblay.
Okay, right, October 24, but I'm not clear, Mr. Morgan, on whether your motion includes specificity with regard to the 3 items laid out in Mr. Teitelbaum's letter, and I need to know whether your motion includes.
The reason I didn't put that in there is because he indicated they had already talked, and if he maintains the property, he doesn't require that wall. And that wall would, like our own staff said, would really have a problem when it comes time to develop the property.
So I'm hearing you say the answer is no. Your motion does not include that.
Include what, the wall?
The 3 conditions, the meeting with staff and the developer. Give me just a second. The staff and the developer and the adjacent property owner as to the 3 conditions in this letter that we've been presented with.
Meeting with them or just hearing from each
attempting to achieve agreement.
Okay.
That's mutually acceptable.
That's right.
That's mutually acceptable to the developer and to Mr. Teitelbaum and to the city.
Right, but we not tell them to have those 3 right up front. It's mutually acceptable, and they come back and make a recommendation. In other words, if what he's saying is true, that Mr. Teitelbaum does not need a wall, then if they come back and tell us that, because it'll cause a problem later, as you heard. And if Mr. Teitelbaum doesn't need a wall but all the other mitigations, then I think that's where we should go. But that's what staff's supposed to recommend or find out.
Well, if I can just clarify, I didn't say necessarily a wall is going to cause any problems. It's just that there may be considerations that we'd have to look at. So they can do a wall on Teitelbaum's property. Then any future wall may need to be a retaining wall on their project site adjacent to the Teitelbaum property line wall.
My response.
So just for clarification.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vaca, to interrupt. Mr. Morgan, I was just merely attempting to make sure I understood that your motion included those 3 components.
For consideration. Because he'll come back and tell us what if he says.
I think we've had enough discussion, and I think, Mr. Morgan, that your motion did not get a second. Is there another motion to be made?
Didn't Kevin give me a second?
I'm going to withdraw that without those.
I didn't hear your second.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there another motion to be made?
Well, and if this is going to die because
Mr. Tremblay, are you getting ready to make a motion?
You want me to?
Go ahead.
I'll move that we extend this to the October 24th with the 3 conditions that were brought to our attention by the letter from Mr. Teitelbaum, and the sides will get together with staff and try to rectify these conditions vis-a-vis the letter from Titlebaum.
You said with the three conditions, so you're wanting them added in, or you're wanting staff
Or
to
consider.
to find out if there is an agreement of some kind, or to, I'm not sure exactly what it is you're asking.
That the three issues that in the letter that we received are addressed
Okay.
by
Okay.
staff.
Okay.
Okay, but not necessarily included until staff
Tells
has
us.
discussions
Exactly.
with Mr.
Right.
Titlebaum and Mr. Mann.
I will second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.